Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to talk today about NATO contributions to its own defense. And you both stated in your opening statements, kind of patting ourselves on the back, that we're going from the pathetic number of 11 out of 31 member nations contributing its bare minimum of 2% to its national defense, that, wow, we're going to 20 now, and we're on the right path. I think, frankly, that is the tyranny of low expectations, and it has infected our national security apparatus for many, many decades, including the many years that our European, look, we can be friends and allies and have tough conversations, but if we don't start imposing real consequences, if we don't start using the leverage we have, we literally cannot afford to subsidize European defense any longer. And what we often talk about, I mean, we're talking about the frontline European nations, they're contributing, the Baltics, Poland. But when we're talking about France, when we're talking about Germany, when we're talking about Spain, when we're talking about Italy, they're not. And all of those heads of state will be here in Washington for the Washington Summit this summer. Dr. Wallander, how are we as a matter of policy going to go from 11 to 31 contributing the minimum, the bare minimum, not half, not a third, because we're continuously, and you're asking us to go to the American people again and again, and we'll be having the same conversation at this posture hearing, Mr. Chairman, next year. American people, dig deeper in your pockets because European politicians can't and won't get their people to dig deeper in their pockets. A good deal for them. It's a bad deal for the American people. This is pathetic. Half. Half is what we're congratulating ourselves for? Do you think that's a good deal for the American people, Dr. Wallander?
No, I fully agree with you. It should be 32. And we press
what is
and
your,
work.
the administration's plan, aside from asking, to get them to do it?
So the plan has already yielded improvement, and we can share with you the updated numbers. There are, as of today, 18 NATO allies who meet 2%, which is 14 too few. We expect around several more by the time of the summit to announce publicly that they have met 2%, and we expect several other allies to have credible plans.
That they've met 2% or that they're on some kind of future
that they have reached 2%.
pathway.
We expect the number to be larger by the summit.
We have Chancellor Schultz, in his famous speech in 2022, just after the invasion, promised to enshrine the 2% in law. The German Chancellor, he did not. In fact, they voted it down in their parliament. Italian Prime Minister Meloni promised in 2023 Italian defense spending would increase, saying, quote, freedom has a price. Italian defense spending is actually declining. Spanish Prime Minister promises by 2029, 2%. It'd have to double its defense budget. It's not. You know who is doubling their defense budget in relation to the threat? Japan is. Their prime minister is here. They're living up to their shared burden commitment. The European nations are not. Mr. Chairman, it's not only the defense spending. What they are giving is in horrible condition. I'd like to enter into the record, Ukraine rejects German Leopard tanks due to their poor condition.
Without objection.
In this article by Reuters, the tanks currently stranded in Poland constitute the second part of a large-scale supply of German Leopard tanks. By the way, these are the ones that they leveraged to give us to contribute ours. The tanks were retired from active service more than a decade ago. So our European allies are under-giving. What they are giving is often late. What you see in the charts are often commitments and promises. We saw that in Afghanistan for years. And then what they are giving late and too few is often in poor condition. Dr. Wallander, how are we going to get to 32? Will you commit to get us to 32 within the next 3 years? Is that possible?
We will commit to work with those allies who have not met their commitment, their required commitment that they agreed to at Vilnius, and get to 32 one by one.
Gentleman's time's expired, although he makes an outstanding point.